Okay, it is early July 2022, and I am here at my favorite stream, Spring Branch. There have been some big thunderstorms lately, and I was worried the stream would be blown out, but it looks deep and clear, and there's a little hatch going, and it's a wonderful day. There's probably going to be some thunderstorms later today, but I think I have a couple hours of fishing that I can get in here, so we're gonna do this and try this out. You might notice a different little look here. I got a new camera for the channel. My GoPro 5 was kind of crapping out, and I was using my little Olympus underwater camera, which did okay, but I invested in a Sony ZV-1 vlogging camera, so I hope it works, and especially I hope it gives a little better audio, because that has been a problem in previous broadcasts. So I'm gonna get my fly fishing stuff together here. It's just afternoon, and go out and do a little fishing here on my favorite stream in the whole world. So thanks for coming along, guys. Trout fishing in Iowa. I think it's gonna be a very nice day. Okay, just ran into Brian and Kevin, who are some Spring Branch regulars, and they said the words that some people love and some love to hate. The cows are in the stream. So they said the stream up there is getting pretty muddy, and they were killing them on black nymphs. So I started out here with a little dry fly. Time to switch to a copper john and see if I might catch a little something out here. Always good to have that intelligence, so thank you guys. Here's another thing about Spring Branch. There's always something to eat out here. There are delicious little black raspberries. There are elderberries in the fall. Fish, if you can catch fish. Mulberries in the summer. Lots of good foraging out here, so not everything you see out here is weed. Sometimes it's food too. Alright, down at the end of the fenced area here, where you can cross the creek, and someone has kindly put a picnic table here, which is really nice. It's in the shade. Just a nice spot to rest your legs if you're a weary fisherman. And gonna fish this little crossing here, and then proceed down to the pool where it turns 90 degrees down here. Always nice to get away from the crowds. If you walk a little bit down here, you can find some fish that maybe aren't quite as well versed in the ways of fly fishers as those upstream. So let's see what we can find here. Okay, I'm now in the area of the 90-degree bend pool, where the stream hits this bluff, I assume, of some kind of resistant limestone, and takes a sharp turn. It's always amazing how much this place changes just from day to day and month to month. This used to be just a little dry run over here. Now it's a pretty big branch that's cutting an island in the middle, and the main stream comes through this riffle. But this pool here, which, as you can see, I've muddied by my wading, this is a very deep pool. It can be really productive. If I hadn't just waded upstream through that little wash to get to it, it would be very clear. But it almost has a bluish green cast most days due to its depth, and it's a good place to work a sinking fly of some kind, streamer, nymph, whatever. I have caught fish here in the riffles on dries as well, but it's very deep holding water, and on a pretty warm day like today, I think this would be a good place to catch fish. So fish a little bit here and see if I can find anything good. Okay, back here at the picnic table. Did not catch any fish. Well, I haven't caught any fish today, actually, but am proud that walked through the 90-degree pool area and past it. I haven't been there in almost a year, and that's because of something that happened out here. So a little bit of a couple Spring Branch ghost stories for you. So there are a group of 5 or 6 of us who really like to fish here, the Spring Branch bunch, and we have a group text. We talk about fishing and things all the time, and occasionally we meet up here, and we have folks who come from as far west as Ames and as far east as Chicago. So we're here on a beautiful fall day, and we brought a lot of food to have a really good picnic, and to be honest, we had a lot of beer, maybe a little whiskey as well. And you know, I rolled in toward the middle of the day. Some of the other guys were already here, some arrived later, and we were fishing kind of in name only at the wall there, and it was just a gorgeous day. There's only one other car in the parking lot. We were fishing, had a big lunch, fair amount to drink. One of the fellas, John, came downstream here. He wanted to fish this pool. 2 of the other fellas went upstream. One guy wasn't with us, who's on the text. And then I was going to go upstream as well, and my camera ran out of battery, so I'm like, I gotta go change this battery. I'll be right back. I'll catch up with you guys. So they're going upstream, come back, change the battery. Of course, I gotta fish the wall a little bit. Then all of a sudden I start to hear sirens. So bunch of emergency vehicles start flying in. There's a sheriff's deputy in like a Chevy Suburban that came in. He must have come in about 80 miles an hour, almost ran me over on the bridge on the way in, and I was just like, what is going on? Because we hadn't seen anybody else. And my first thought was, oh no, something happened to John. You know, he's down here. And so I'm trying to text him, you know, John, are you okay? But I was just kind of sending it in the group chat, knowing that he would get it, hopefully, but cell phones don't work great out here. So a bunch more emergency vehicles come in, and then a bunch of neighbors are rubbernecking in their, you know, Rangers and stuff. And finally an ambulance pulls in, and I talked to the EMT. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Is somebody hurt? And she's like, kind of looks at me like, no, he's dead. And I'm like, wait a second, what? I'm like, he can't be dead. I just had lunch with him. She's like, oh, he's been dead for quite a while. And I was freaking out because I thought John had died down here. As it turned out, somebody had passed away. So the other car in the lot belonged to a fisherman who'd come in earlier in the day, and he was having some health issues. And when John got up here, he found the gentleman passed away by the 90-degree pool, and there was nothing that could be done. He had passed earlier in the day. And so eventually John, what happened is John had called 911, and that's hence the emergency vehicles. Then he saw my text and said, I'm okay. But the other fella on the group chat, Davis, who wasn't here, was like, wait, who's dead? What happened? It was just pretty scary. And so they removed the fella and towed his car, and kind of there was like no trace. It was really pretty spooky, to be honest. You know, I guess if you have to go, as we all will one day, there are way worse ways to do it than fishing at a stream you love and things like that. But it was a fairly harrowing experience for me and for the other folks that were here. So you don't expect that. So that's one Spring Branch ghost story. The other one, not a lot of people probably know that this hasn't been a state hatchery forever. In fact, it was a federal hatchery going back to the 1800s. And at some point they swapped some land and gave this to the state. But there used to be a lot of buildings here, you know, Victorian houses, gazebos. You can find postcards with pictures of it. It used to be really built up, actually. And I was out here once talking with the DNR guys, and they told me that the buildings that remain are haunted at night by a ghost. And I can't remember if they called her Bloody Mary or just Mary, but we'll go with Bloody Mary because that sounds cooler. But yeah, they said if you're here at night, you'll hear noises, you'll see, you know, kind of a white apparition going around the buildings and things, and you might hear screams. So that's kind of interesting too. Haven't been here late at night ever to see that. But one day we'll get some better weather, and I'll camp at the campground and come down here at night and see if there's any truth to that legend, or if there's any truth to the legend that you can catch these big browns at night on a mouse fly. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna fish just my way up here. Fish are rising behind me. I haven't had much luck, but that's fine. See if we can do anything, and if nothing else, it's a great day as it always is on Spring Branch. So, a couple stories for you to make it worth your while, even though no fish action yet. This is unexpected. I caught a pretty good sized rainbow on this tiny fly, on this tiny little Tenkara mini rod. So I'm gonna get him back in the water ASAP. I was just going for like a sculpin or something like that maybe. And lo and behold, a nice big fat rainbow. Alright guy, hold still. Okay, well that was just ridiculous. So I was just kind of messing around here with this mini micro Tenkara rod. It's a 5-foot rod. It folds up to about 8 inches. It's about as thick as a thick pencil. And I have this tiny little pink scud fly on here. And I was just kind of dinking along, trying to catch a sculpin or maybe a minnow or something. And I was walking along here, right below this bank, and he freaking nailed it. There he is right there, actually swimming around. This fish absolutely destroyed this fly, and I had no idea what to do. This rod bent over double. It's meant for catching like tiny little fish in tiny little streams, and that was about a 1-pound rainbow. Absolutely unbelievable. You saw the video, so you know what happened. I wish I'd had the video running when I caught it, but I freaked out. So yeah, well, that's a pretty good end to the fishing day here. It's about 4 o'clock. It does look like we'll get some weather, and probably time for me to get out of the heat and get some iced tea and maybe a cool step 2. Thank you for tuning in today to fishing at Spring Branch. It's always fun. It's crazy. My one fish was caught, I don't know, just down from my truck here after I walked several miles. But that's the way fishing is. Really nice day in July. Thank you for coming along. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed the stories. We'll see you next time. Trout fishing in Iowa. Cheers, guys. Oh yeah, that's good.